Grow men and women in this society that will amount to something.
Scared of height. Some people scared of driving fast. Some people scared of ghosts. Some people scared of the truth.
Okay. Cultural awareness 101. Benki style. And this is why it becomes difficult. Not only difficult, but political. It becomes cultural. It becomes social. A cultural education is specific to a people and their lived experience. This is why it's difficult for a teacher to stand up in front of a classroom, right? Under the British Commonwealth colonial system, and look at 20 students and say, "Hello, students. My name is Miss So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so, and I'm here to teach you African history." All right, some of us say, "We must teach Marcus Garvey in schools." I mean, we see some literature, we say, "Hey, Marcus Garvey was born in 1987 and all of that." You can't teach it like that, and say, "Okay, here are some quotes." But if we get down into the philosophy that Mr. Garvey advanced, it's similar to the philosophy of the great African scholars that I mentioned, like Dr. Cheikh Diop out of Senegal, Dr. Theophile Obenga out of Congo, Brazzaville. This is what was uncovered by the works of these men. If it was not for the scholarship and the insight and also being involved, right? Them teach at the university. Dr. Diop was head of the United Nations, the cultural and economic, they call it ECOSOC, right? For Africa, for years. And he was involved in one of the greatest debates that came out. A debate was held in Cairo, and it was called the Peopling of Ancient Egypt, right? And the deciphering of the Meroitic script. Let me explain that to you now. It simply means, if the people them will build a big pyramid them 2,500 years before BC, right? That are over 5,500 years ago, right? Who had to have the mathematical skills, had to have the philosophical tools to organize the society, have to have the whole astrology, they have to have, what you call it now, physics, easy, and also had advanced medicine. So you have to have anatomy and physiology, all of that in place, okay, to create such monument and organize such society. It's still a puzzle to see how you can lift up rocks that weigh 5 tons without a crane. So these are the things that puzzle people about African people and their capability. This is the kind of information that is replaced with, "Hey, you were trapped in a boat and you were transferred and you were swinging on whist like Tarzan." Let me go now and live the experience. One time, I have a virgin who was a musician, wicked musician. This man I can sing wicked and Jack Yor. I know him should have bust. But the thing is, in my opinion, the talent and the cultural awareness was separate and apart. In a conversation with my good friend after a while, my good friend just looked at me and said, "Hey, Benki, I don't agree with the Africa thing where you talk about, I'm going to stop coming to event, them come sing, because I don't agree with them thing the way I talk about and I bring people out, they come talk about, about Africa and this and that. If we never was enslaved and come over here in the boat, in the West, we would have still let Africa swing upon tree like monkey. Me not gonna call his name. But big up yourself, youth. Long time in a year from you. Hopefully you have evolved. Alright? Because that is the key there. Couldn't relate to you at that point. Alright? No disrespect. So yeah, Benki continues to advance on the program of cultural awareness. So you can't move a society forward with people who have those sort of beliefs. And that's where it comes from. Belief. Alright? Not based on any knowledge, curiosity, or research, or wanting to know. Who am I? Where did I come from? What is my purpose in this world? These are the questions that spark human thought. Alright? So anyway, let me stay up on the track again. So what we're telling you now, say, it's not going to be taught like this in the schools. We literally go into the student's mind and undo all that damage, all that self-esteem work, spiritualizing work. You see? There's a lot of work that went into undermining the psyche and the psychology of the African person, transferred here in the West, and also who have remained on the continent. Right? So this is a thing that we're discussing now. So let me tell you this story, and this is the reason why I am doing this presentation. What Dr. Diop and Dr. Theophile Obenga uncovered was stuff such as this. In the history, where we were taught, from a perspective of evolution, and which implied stages of mankind, where mankind evolved into what it is now, which suggests that African people has not evolved to the highest stage of what the human being is. And Dr. Diop then beat that with a butt, alright, by establishing this type of civilizations and how advanced compared to everybody else when we were left alone, okay, without the threats and the reversal of thought, right, through foreign domination and imposition of ideas, right, foreign to us but indigenous to them, which has become our belief today. Anyway, this is what the man them do. Not like get too off track, But anyway, they went as far as to plant a fossil or a fetus or what I don't know what to say it was, but they call this thing the Piltdown man. What do you think is the Piltdown man? It's the forgery. They forge like you have Lucy and all the bones, old skeleton that prove that the oldest form of human being came out of Ethiopia with the type of bones that were like million years and so far back, right, based on the carbon dating, because the bones now going to decay. It can dead for hundreds of thousands of years, right? 100 years, thousands of years, right? Million years. So these fossils reveal that mankind was originated in Africa and went through 6 stages of evolution and development before he ever left the continent of Africa. That means that him developing full features and psychological and skills and in philosophy and ideas, right, on the continent before he travel anywhere else, go export any form of development. So that shows the African continent are either everywhere else by thousands of years, right, in terms of development and human existence. But under the British curriculum and education system, they thought to reverse this in order to justify ideas like Darwinism, right, advanced by philosophers at the time like Blumenbach, all right. So this Blumenbach was the one who invented the word Caucasian. So within the whole conspiracy of this, they plant a artifact, a fetus in the ground where they forge themselves out of plastic, human bone, animal bone, all type of thing, and bring it in the highest council and say, look, see, human beings originated in England. You see it? In order to justify why England at the time was in control of the world and had a monarch and was supposed to receive all the taxes. Basically, they might say, we originate this thing and we are the original people of the earth. But they had to go as far as to plant a forgery in the ground to justify that and call it the Piltdown man. Now, the Piltdown man theory existed in your education and your curriculum for 50 years before it was shred to pieces quite embarrassingly, right? Exposed by, I must give credit, a British professor actually, and philanthropist, not philanthropist, archaeologists, etc. But it was made public and brought to our attention by Dr. Cheikh and Diop. Said this is the stuff that goes on in the echelons of Eurocentric academia in the name of Western Civ. Okay? Because we have to understand that we were never taught about world history nor African history until late. It became combined with African and Oriental history. The most of the history just based to justify European domination until challenged by African scholars in France originally, and then the movement kick off in America. And mostly the American scholars have a movement that has sought to deconstruct this idea and has established it in some of the more leading and advanced American universities. And this is the program that the president of the US currently and his administration is seeking to remove from the curriculum as we speak. All right? It might conflate it with other things, but the key is to remove that approach and that deconstructive approach and replace it with like the Washington Monument Museum, which just houses a lot of artifacts about slavery. And when people go there, then depressed and say, wow, yes, I was a good slave, my ancestors. So how you present the history of African people is quite political. And the way, how they would like it to be taught is the way how they have been teaching it. And that has been revised at the highest level. And at this stage, it is not possible for the person of African descent to reach his highest potential and confidence within that psychological framework. And this is why cultural awareness is absolute. To bring these kind of things to the student from a tender age, so that they can understand why the world is what it is and why it seems like every move they move, there already is a roadblock, and that is systematic. All right, it has been established so. Already? So hopefully that does good justice and clarification. It wasn't too heavy or too light. It just balanced. Right? Don't just take it from me. Information at a fingertip. Search it yourself. The Piltdown man, Dr. Cheikh and Diop, has a video on YouTube translated from French, and it gives you the whole debacle. And since I had mentioned the Meroitic script and the Cairo conference about the people of ancient Egypt, I will do a second part to this one and go deeper now in African literature and the art and the history, and also what occurred at the Cairo Symposium when Dr. Diop and Dr. Obenga went and challenged 19 other scholars. You understand me? And mop up the floor with them. Alright. Follow the Benki. Can't take it for fool.
Africa is emerging as a global talent powerhouse. Africa boasts the youngest population in the world.